views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
This show's audio was via a Skype call.
You're listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I'm going to empower you and teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality to reveal the steps you need to let go of your perceived limitations. Have you had the limiting self-talk over and over? Have you noticed you allow your fears to hold you back? If you're truly ready for change, I invite you to join me, Tracy L. Clark, and start your journey of transformation now. Welcome to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm your host today, Tracy L. I'm known as a transformational specialist or leader because I've helped hundreds of people just like you learn how to change their lives and move them from ordinary to extraordinary and really living your passion. And, you know, as a creator of the Body Regen Method and the founder of the TLC Community of Extraordinary Living, each week we promise to bring you an episode to raise your awareness in a different topic, to not only release blocks in your life, but truly transform them by sifting and shifting the energy behind the underlying issue that really keeps us from embracing what we really, really, truly desire. I always say, and I like to say this at the top of each show, that my definition of extraordinary living is making sure that I'm accountable to myself so I can be accountable to each and every one of you. And really that to me is about being filled with peace and walking in the limitless world so we can keep creating with that hand of God in that universe and continue to be led to do what you need to do and what I need to do to create a better world, a better environment. So I promise to support you, inspire you, and uplift you with each episode. And, you know, today we're really talking about going from the majority to the minority. And I really want you, as you're going to learn that we've got some triggers that are going to go with these words. We're going to get into that. And if you have something that you want to share or talk about, I invite you to call in at the bottom of the hour, 1-800-930-2819, where we're going to talk about how that might trigger you and what that means. So the first thing I like to talk when I'm really moving the energy behind this, because it does trigger a lot of people. We hear the word majority and it's about fitting in. It's about being inclusive. And what happens is a lot of times when we hear that word minority, there's a lot of negativity that's attached to it. So people, it stirs up the cell memory in the body where people are like, I don't want to be the minority because there's something wrong with that word when there's not. There's not. And I want to take this opportunity to allow you to just sort of tune into your body and how it makes you feel when you say the word majority. So majority for people is fitting in. It's being like everybody else. I call, you know, you've heard that term sheeples and walking the path that everybody else is walking. And when we hear the word minority, it's all about being different. We're different than what our environment is. And there's a trigger that comes up for a lot of us when we start to realize we are different, or we think differently, or we look different, and how that word means, for a lot of us, it'll bring up feelings and spaces of being shunned and being shamed. And I know as a little person, I had my nerve system was so damaged when I was born, and I had seen multiple neurologists who said, live with it, all this pain. But I used to walk around as a little kid with my head, my eyes, my arms shaking so bad. And if I was stressed, I looked like those Pez dolls that, you know, never stop shaking. And I was teased for being different all the time. I was bullied for being different. I looked different. I was born without, you know, certain teeth. I could see things I didn't know at the time what I was seeing or feeling. I didn't feel like I fit. And so I was always seen as being different. And then, so when you're different, you feel like you're excluded. Then we're put in the minority camp. And then, yes, people get into, well, okay, race, they bring that in. They say to me, Tracy, but I'm the minority in my group. Well, depending on what country you go to, you could look around and you could all feel that. So it's a very big trigger for a lot of people. So if I go to another country, then obviously I'm going to be classified as different. And this is a big, big trigger because, again, what is majority and what is different? So as we're little, we're very taught to not be different. And this creates challenges and blocks in our life when we're wanting to achieve our dreams and our visions and our goals. And so we're conditioned to follow the crowd, get those good marks and go to university and get a good job and pay your bills and pay your taxes, be a good little citizen, have some babies maybe, or create a family. So we're kind of herded in, be like everyone else, be like everyone else. I've heard this from a lot of parents of people and clients I've worked with. They're like, I want my child to just be like everyone else so they have friends and they fit in. So imagine what all of that programming is telling your body. And when you wake up and you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to be like that. But then there's a resistance of how do I go from not wanting to be like everyone else to being my full self? And how do I get myself out of the majority? Because everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to embrace this. So when we start to open this up, how? So this is the space that I really, really, really like to start to shift people to think, where do you really have that first memory of where you wanted to be like everyone else? And then where did that start to hold you back? Because you're like, I have to fit. I have to be like everyone else. I got to follow that crowd. And so it's such a big package. Look at your career, look at your finances. And I know when we come back from break, we're going to talk a little about finances and, that the majority and fitting in and why we want to do things differently. What I want to do is really get you to understand today that being different and being in the minority space is such a beautiful thing, because when you start to expand this perception, then you can start to step into a fullness of who you are. So people will say to me, well, I can't do this based on maybe, my economic background. But then I give them all the examples, and you can think of them right now, of all the beautiful people that you hear about, their testimonials and their stories around how they came from poverty or they came from abusive backgrounds and they rose through that fire and they became, inspirational and great to people all over the world. Or they say, I've heard this, well, based on where I live or the color of my skin, and I give them another big group and they say, well, they're just a minority. That's just a small segment of society. But you know what, when we look at the people that have broken through these barriers, they didn't label themselves. They stopped labeling themselves and they saw them as this great being of, I'm going to do whatever it takes to break the mold. Because as long as we're following what everybody else wants us to follow, we're giving up our dreams and our visions. So when you hear, I look at people, or if you've listened, and most of you probably have, people like Oprah Winfrey, who talks about going into her passion, never giving up, holding on to her faith, no matter what the surrounding was. I know I did that as well. People would say to me, well, you're so brave. Why would you do that? Why would you go out of the box? Why would you leave corporate? Why would you give up all that money? That's not what we do. You need to stay and, really make money for your family. So, but there's lots of ways. There's lots of ways to create and generate, but it's so foreign. So it's like, if you really start to look at why being different is so important, and to start to celebrate being different, because when we celebrate being different and we start to walk into doing what, this small section of society does, that's where you get these supernatural breakthroughs. That's where your faith becomes stronger. That's where you start to have more of your dreams and visions. So there are systems that we grow up in, and there's lots of systems, whether it's government or school or, family structure. And we follow them because they're safe, and it means we are accepted. So just think about everywhere again where you wanted to be accepted so badly. that you would give up your beliefs to be like everyone else. You know, it's like I see a lot of young kids and they say, you know, Trace, I have to go into school and I got to dress a certain way. And, you know, I want to be in the popular kids. And I see this with adults as well. And they're like, but it's not me. It doesn't make me happy. But if I pull this in, I'll be accepted. And what is the big thing that most people want? They want to be seen. They want to be accepted. And they'll take viewpoints at all costs to be accepted, even though when you dig deep, you're like, I don't want to dress that way. I don't want to talk like that. I don't want to hang out with that crowd. I don't like their belief systems. But again, all humans have a desire to be accepted. And what we forget because of the program, which we'll start to remove out for you guys today, is that stepping in to this segment of being different and being, you know, in your own, beating to your own drum. I know that was a big thing my parents used to always say to me, Tracy beats to her own drum. She beats to her own drum. She does her own thing. And I celebrate that now. I used to look at it as a negative, but I celebrate it because I wouldn't be where I am today had I kept beating to everybody else's drum and doing what everybody else's opinion was telling me and thought process. And even I know in my partnership program, the way I do it live every day, people are like, that's crazy. That's so much time. Why would you do that to these people? It's, you know, you should do it bigger and different and just can the product. I'm like, no, because it's different, because I don't want to do things like everybody else does. And when you start to have that spirit of rejection of the way everybody else does, take the observation and turn it into how you can create it to be different for you. Watch the strength, watch the power. Thank you, God. Okay, when we come back after the break, I want to actually start to get into some financial testimonies of how people did things different to create a greater financial prosperity in their life and went against the grain of what the majority was actually doing. So I encourage you, if you like what you're hearing today, check us out at tracylclark.com. As I said, you can partner with us each and every day. You can really get that shifting and sifting that you desire and you're looking for. And again, I encourage you, if you have questions, call in 1-800-930-2819. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to get to them. I love it when we hear the testimonials and we can help you shift going from the majority into the minority, because this is where you get true transformation. This is where true transformation will come when you get that breakthrough. And I always say they're like supernatural breakthroughs, because you will see synchronicities line up to catapult you faster than what you ever thought imagined. So we'll check you out right after the break.
Gifted intuitive healer and spiritual teacher Sarah Luce brings her unique style to the hit show Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Tune in each month as Sarah turns reality on end and shows us how to experience expansive results with simple yet powerful steps. Expect an enlightening bend on what you currently believe is possible. For show details and upcoming topics, visit sarahluce.com. That's SARALOOS.com.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit TheTruthIsFunny.com.
Are you done being afraid to jump into the life that's waiting for you? Are you ready for a real shift? I invite you to tune in every Tuesday with me, Tracy L., on the Tracy L. Clark Show, where we will teach you how to live your extraordinary life. At 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I will provide the tools and the steps needed to help you transcend perceived limitations and move forward with an extraordinary life. For more information, visit me at tracylclark.com.
If you're dealing with fear and anxiety, you've probably noticed that the more you fight these emotions, the stronger they seem to get. Dr. Friedemann Schaub, the author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, explains that instead of suppressing, we need to identify and resolve the deeper, subconscious root causes of fear and anxiety. His personal breakthrough program has helped thousands worldwide to overcome their emotional challenges. To learn more, visit thefearandanxietysolution.com and schedule your free consultation with Dr. Schaub now.
Choose the new earth on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio as Cornelia takes listeners on an odyssey of higher consciousness to inspire, educate, and empower. Cornelia guides people on the path of self-healing, peace, and liberation. The Cornelia Stephanie Show is your catalyst for anchoring heaven on earth on a global scale. For more information, go to corneliastephanie.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Welcome back to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm your host, Tracy L., where we're today talking about going from the majority to the minority and why you want to switch camps. Before the break, we were talking about also how going against the grain, being different, can be such a blessing in your life. So I always like to say, if you're loving the episode, please, I encourage you to share it on your social media. You can screenshot it, let others know where we're here, check out the links, because each week we're bringing something different for you. So I want to talk about going against the grain and how it affects money. And a lot of people always have. What are the three things people really always want to know about relationships, stepping into something different? Usually their health and their finances, well, and career. But this is such a I love this story, and I want to share it to inspire you. There's this beautiful couple that I worked with, and they were always struggling financially, and they had a home, and that's what we do, right? That's what we do. We get older, we got to buy that home. That's the dream that everybody puts in. Without a home, you are nobody. I hear this a lot, which is not true. It's not true. Just because you want to do something different, there is nothing wrong with that, because, there can be a drawback to having a home, but everybody's got to own a home. That's the new way. So they had this home, and they were starting to drown in debt. They were drowning in financial debt, but their home was worth a lot of money. And they realized if they did something different, sold their house, they could not only be debt-free, but have all this other money to play and go do other things. And they did it. And they did it with, they were strong enough to say, we're going to clean this up and we're going to start over again. Who cares if we go rent? It didn't matter. But I'm going to tell you, by them doing that, they had a lot of, opposition. Where are you going to live? What are you going to do if you don't own a home? And all these opinions came out to try to distract them from going towards their dreams. So when they actually started to do this process, guess what happened? That debt that they had from following what everybody else was following, and you can't sell your home, and they had debt collectors calling them, it freed them. It freed them from all the energy and all the bondage they were in from creating more money, because they were doing what everybody was telling them you should do. This is what you do. And when they had the awareness to change this, their entire financial picture changed. Money was coming from nowhere. They have no issues around money anymore. Like, I love, hearing these, because this is what happens. So they went against the grain. They said, I am going to be different, and it's okay to be different. It's okay to not follow the crowd. And we're not going to be in that majority because we want to change our lives. But it completely changed their financial world. It changed it. So they have no more money worries. They have no more debt collectors. They have, no more thoughts and sleepless nights. All of it went away. It even affects their health, their relationship, everything, because it went away. But they could have sat there listening to everyone else says, no, that's your home. That's your home. You can't sell your home. How dare you? You need your home. That means you made it. and spend the next 30 years paying it off. But, it's interesting. So you see the patterns. This happens in all areas of our lives. Everybody else is doing it, so let's do it. Everybody else is let's doing it. So you'll find this in other financial opportunities. There may be an investment or a business idea, and you start to go, no, I don't know other people doing that, so I don't think it's going to work. Or people will have their projections and opinions. We can start to remove all that today, that I can't go in that direction because everybody's not doing that. Again, if you were doing what everybody else is always doing and following the crowd, you're not going to get that breakthrough. And that's why I love this story. This is a massive financial breakthrough that changed their lives because they stood strong. And don't kid yourself. I know they had a lot of opposition when it came to this because it wasn't going with the flow. So there's a thing in energy where people say, go with the flow, go with the flow. You do. You want to go with the energetic flow of your life. Things shouldn't be difficult. But if they're getting difficult and you're really getting into this bind, what are all the things that you did naturally out of habit because you were told that this is what we do because this is what the majority of society is doing? So now what we're seeing is we're just sort of in the steps where people are breaking out of the box and saying, it is okay to be different, but how many of you in truth can hold your head up and say you love being different? If you went out and dressed the way you really wanted to dress, like let's look at corporations. If you go and you've got to dress a certain way so you fit in and look the part and act. And all of a sudden, if you showed up in a bathing suit, and you're being different, and they'd say, you got to leave, bye. And I get that they say, well, that's an extreme example, but it's true because go to the energy of it. The energy, if you could truly be who you are. I always say when I was in the corporate world, I would love it if they got rid of the monkey suits and they didn't have everybody the same, everybody following the same path. Because I want to know what this person's really like as a person. And because things can change when you put on, different clothes. But if you could be who you truly are and see the full essence of who you are, that's where you start to be different. And then you would find that you will connect in with different people. You'll connect in with different places. And you'll start to celebrate being in this different space. You'll celebrate what it's like. But this, again, it will break old patterns when you start to walk into something new. So think about, again, what we were saying at the top of the hour. When you hear that word minority, what are all the thought processes that come right away in truth? And what is it left that's still triggering you? Because I'd like to actually start. So energy falls in these lines. And you hear people call them triggers because they're thought forms within the body, they're belief systems that start to rise up that prevent us from moving forward. And a lot of times you don't even know where they're coming from. You don't even realize that you're holding them until you really in truth sit there. What is all the negative programming? And you look because there's so much negative programming around that word to hold you back. It's been programmed by media and society to hold you back, that there's something wrong. And, it's been done very manipulative and very underhanded. So I want to remove that so we can start to celebrate who you are. So just think about what that is. You'll feel it in the body. You'll feel where it sits because we have all been classified and labeled and taken those labels of what people label them as truth. And when we take a label like this and take it as truth, it does hinder us. It hinders our confidence. It hinders our motivation. It hinders our drive. It hinders our desire. And it brings up our fear. Our fear. And when I say that, think of how many of you have brought fear of being different. And look at we had a person in our very first show talk about how fear in school, she sent me a beautiful note. We talked afterwards how fear in school affected the rest of her life because she was labeled different. And that one failing of that exam labeled her as stupid, labeled her as different, put her in a different category, put her in a different class, would affected the rest of her life. So now you can see how this whole word minority, then we've created class structures, we've created being different, and we've created this negative undertone, and it's all been done to hold you back. It's all been done so you would believe it and it would hold you back. So this is where I like to take, there's a way of, when you hear me, taking that accumulation of all the places, all the spaces of where you've heard this, felt this, been in it, and been part of it. And we've been in both sides of it, and start to release that out of the body and strengthen the body to let that belief system go and let that negativity that has been implanted. And that's why you hear me say seeds and roots. Where were they planted? It's a great visualization in your body. Who put that there and why? Was it your upbringing? Was it the belief system? Because when you know better, you do better. I think Maya Angelou said that, and I love it. I love that saying, because this is when we go to be different and we break into being different and bring into more of that minority space, we start to create and we do better. We become better humans. I said this the other day. Life is easy, be kind. But this is a principle that a lot of people have forgotten. And this is what we love. I love this even about this network, about why we do these shows. It's about reminding you to be kind and changing at a deep self space of patterns that things can start to move. And again, you can start to align. So look at your financial space. Where have you wanted to do something different? Where have you wanted to bring something or make a decision to change your world? But you've stopped based on where you thought all those projections and opinions were going to come from other people to stop you. So you would rather be like everyone else and be miserable because you don't want to have to deal with their opinions. You don't want to have to deal with their projections. And I'm going to give you one of my favorite tips I tell all my clients, and I love it. Sharing is not always caring. So sharing is not always caring. If you can remember that, so when you're ready to do something different, like this couple who's going to sell their house and do something different, you tell nobody till it's sold. And then they can have all their opinions you want, but their opinion can't affect your energetic space. Their opinion won't make you feel bad and less than and back down. So it will strengthen you that each and every one of you go forward in what you want to do. Be different. But when you're ready to make a change, don't go tell all your friends, because they're going to have a fear and they're not going to want you to go and be different. Your family's not going to want you to go and be different, because that might mean that you are no longer part of them. So let's correct all this for you, strengthen it so you can actually open your heart space. But sharing is not always caring. I love this saying. I have used it for years, and I will tell you, if you can repeat it in your head until you get through to the next phase of where you want to be, you will open more doors, and spirit will open more doors for you than you could ever imagine. You got to just keep going. All right, everybody. You know what? If you're enjoying our episode, again, I want to encourage you to share it on your social media so we can keep sifting and shifting and changing energies with all sorts of people around the world, just like you, inspire you and uplift you. Again, check out our site, tracylclark.com. Partner with us. I encourage you to check out our partnership program, where we partner with you each and every day, and you get inspired, uplifted. You can ask your questions, and you can be part of our TLC Community of Extraordinary Living, where we are growing and going together. We'll see you right after the break.
Tap into the wisdom of animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso on Animal Soul Wisdom Radio. Tune in monthly as Darcy brings insights on how to better understand and deepen our relationships with animals. Working with light and pureness of ancient techniques, Darcy, healer, animal communicator, and medium, is here to guide you through this process and provide inspiration to move forward. For more information about working with Darcy, visit darcypariso.com. Have you discovered the remarkable books at angelhealinghouse.com? Author Claire Candy Hoff has channeled rare books of inspiration and insight.
Angels of Faith is an inspiring story of healing, comfort, and hope that reminds us that death is not to be feared, but embraced with joy.
One True Home, Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, takes readers on a roller coaster ride through Angel Ariel's 5 most important lives on Earth, as well as her experiences in the afterlife, and helps us remember our own journey across the veil.
And Claire Candy's autobiography, I Am an Angelic Walk-In, which details the 2003 soul exchange that took place when Claire Candy walked out of her body and Angel Ariel walked in, creating heaven on earth for herself and others.
To find out more about these wonderful books, visit angelhealinghouse.com today.
Are you your story? Or can you change your story? Can you change what you believe to be true about yourself and your circumstances as part of your healing journey? What if you were to change your expectations? What if you were to invite ease and cooperation into every day and then step back and see what happens? It might just be easier. I'm Megan Edge, and I hope that you'll join me on my new radio show, Playing on the Edge, Radical Change with Ease, with my co-host Dr. Pat on Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to seeing you there.
Want to find out more about Megan Edge? Visit her website at meganedge.ca.
High-frequency healing for an amazing life with Source Light Radio. Join host Laura Barton each month on Transformation Talk Radio as she explores Source Light integration, a unique spectrum of energy, light, and frequency. Experience instantaneous healing and amazing shifts in consciousness with Source Light Integrations Radio. For more information on Laura and her work, visit sourcelightintegrations.com.
Welcome back to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm your host, Tracy L., and we are going from the majority to the minority, making things different. So I want to just take a minute. We're going to go to the phone lines. We're going to have Carter, our amazing producer that helps me out each and every week to make sure I'm organized and here for you. Couldn't do this without him to bring our caller in for us. If we could do that, I think we have Matt on the line.
Yeah, Matt, you are on the air on the Tracy L. Clark Show.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Tracy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi. Very good, thanks. Very good indeed.
Do you have a question today, or would you like to share some things about going from the majority to the minority transition?
I'd just like to share a little first about my story, really, in the fact that I started in a military band back in sort of the late 80s. And I did that for about 6 years, and then went to do a degree in music. It was my life. Music's always been my life and my passion. And then life just, took that expectation of, doing what the majority wanted and, or expected, or, in sort of keeping the mortgage going and paying the bills. And I ended up in soulless jobs for about 20 years. And then it just sort of, for 20 years, it came back to me about of wanting to go into teaching, and last year I suddenly made that move. I made that move into becoming a teaching assistant, because it was one of those things that I was just doing jobs to chase the money, to just do what was expected to keep those bills going. And even though things are difficult, sort of some ways financially now, it's the best move I've ever made in my life. In the fact that it, just because the rewards of helping, and help. I'm working one specific child who has selective mutism, and just every day, I just, in fact, being on the holidays now, I sort of, part of me wants to be straight back into work, which I've never had before. So I think it's, talking about doing what the majority wants, expects of you, it's a huge thing. And one thing that, and the one thing that really, sort of, financially, I'm in quite, sort of difficulties where the fact that, we've had to go to sort of debt management sort of ideas of things. But it was the one thing that held me back, because it was about paying those monthlies all the time. Yeah. And now, it's managed. We're managing it. We're coping with it, and it was a big barrier to break through.
Yeah. It's probably one of the biggest barriers we see because it is our society being built around finances. And what I love and what it looks like even in your energetic field, and you can confirm this, is you're actually living now. You were existing, but you're living by taking that. Like you can see you're living. And did you notice a big transition in your stress and health when you actually decided to walk away from what everybody else wanted you to do?
Huge, massively. I mean, the last job I was in was a finance job, and it was all about, in more ways than one, about chasing the money for the business to get your bonuses, and really. But as soon as I made that, and I used to sit at that desk, and I literally just used to stare at a screen and just wish for the day to go. And now I go in and where you just, I'm in a job that is just making a difference to people's lives every day, and and the children's lives, and that is worth more than its weight in gold.
So much more. The thing I love about what you said too about music, and you may know this, but we're actually, even I was reading a report the other day, even medical now, I know over in North America too, and around the world it's going to come up more, is actually starting to integrate more music into healing for people, because music, vibration, frequencies, literally, they have so much study now how it changes sick bodies. So, you get to do what you love, but now you're changing the lives, and it does, it raises the frequency. Like, I think you're in the absolute best space, but also you can see there's going to be so much more coming towards you, and your life is just, every year you're going to see even you, and you can feel it now, but bigger, better, more peace, more joy, more family time. And I love what you were saying about finances, because I've been there where you are, and that's when I left corporate. It does kill you, I would say, but it's interesting. Yeah. It does. It's like a soul suck. I always said it's like selling your soul to the devil, like enough is enough. But it's interesting because what I love is that this transition, you're going to become such an example to the people around you about following your bliss. And there's something there that I will move, because there's a little part of you that loves this so much, but there's a little part that's like, I should have done this earlier. But, we don't want to go there, because you can see where, when we're stuck in what we're told to do, how much it creates, right? Just like you were saying, damage in your health, damage in your relationships, boredom, like just soul sucking. And like, what a beauty you have to be able to be in this high vibrational place every day. And your children, your life, like what a difference, how you just push that out. And I'm so proud of you. And so what was the realization, the moment where you were like, oh my God, this was the best decision I ever made?
And it's the fact that it's and I know when I was sort of being obviously on program and following, that it becomes repetitive patterns.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I was sat at the desk, and I've been playing music again, and I'm in bands and stuff, and I've longed to go home and play in those bands. And it was the fact that I was sat at that desk and going, I've been here before. That was the realization. It was in a different office, but it was the same thing. And that was the point where, and it was the fact that it kept, and sometimes I think we can ignore, almost being tapped on the shoulder about someone, and for 20 years it kept coming back to me about teaching, about just giving it a go, and there was nothing to lose. Even
if you could go back to your young self and see your young self today, what would you tell your young self that the other people could actually walk away and take that today?
I would say just keep following your dreams. Keep following your dreams. Like you said, don't do what is expected. What you told is expected of you. I mean, perfect example of that. Beth, my partner, is literally. She's currently because I've had PTSD, and it's a big thing about men's mental health. And Beth has decided to shave her hair for Mind, a charity in the UK, for a mental health charity. And she's literally had a message from her mum saying, well, why are you doing that? There's other things you can do because nobody will employ you. And it's one of,
wow.
It's one of those, and, especially, and I've done it in the past, and I think Beth's got the same issue where, as much as we love our parents and our families, sometimes in some ways I think that they can be one of our biggest barriers in pleasing others instead of following what you've got in your heart.
It's so true. It becomes the number one barrier. You're exactly right. And that's why I say that I always say our families are there to help us grow and to do something different. So take the good and do something different. And I just want to commend your wife because I think that's amazing. Like I was saying earlier, if you want to dress different, be different, go and do it. And we are going to give her all the support. I just can't thank you enough for sharing, the brave steps, because I know how hard it is to step out of that box, walk away from all that money, walk away from the comfort. And to me, that is success. What you've walked into now, the love, the kindness, is the ultimate definition of success, not sitting at that soulless desk with the money. And I just want to thank that hangout. You're going to have so much more, and you're going to see even more blessings and help. And I want to speak that more into your lives, of you and your wife, because you're on that path. And I just love hearing stories like this. Thank you for sharing today. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you. So we're going to let you go as we're going to get ready for break. And everybody, please listen. What a beautiful testimonial of, with Matt, from taking the steps, being brave, going to do something different and following you. Look at the peace, his house turning around. I love the story with his wife. Like, how beautiful, what a celebration that is. And that's success and being different and breaking out of what the majority wants you, the expectations. And I love what he said about parents. It's so true, because parents, a lot of times, we love you, but if you're not growing, we're not growing. So you know what? We are there so we can look at them and say, what are they doing that I want to change? And do it. And what I love is, I'm feeling his wife shaved his head. And it was after the wife said, the mom said, what? You can't get employed. And I'm so proud of her for that. That is sharing, is not caring until it's done. Then we share, then we go out. And that's that transformation. And living your bliss comes from doing something different. So I want to encourage all of you. If you really like to get more sifting and shifting, we have a global online call next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can check it out at tracyLclark.com. There's a replay where we're going to be clearing a lot more of your questions. We're going to be shifting through a lot more of the majority minority. We're going to also be aligning. We have another eclipse coming, which we know always can make us a little bit crazy when it's happening and feeling, what's this change? But it's a time of great transformation and change. So I can't wait till you can really start to see and contribute even more of your feedback to us. So we will be back right after the break for a little bit more from going from majority to the minority. Are you done being afraid to jump into the life that's waiting for you? Are you ready for a real shift? I invite you to tune in every Tuesday with me, Tracy L, on the Tracy L. Clark Show, where we will teach you how to live your extraordinary life. At 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I will provide the tools and the steps needed to help you transcend perceived limitations and move forward with an extraordinary life. For more information, visit me at tracylclark.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
What is holding you back from living the life you are meant to live? Why is it vital to believe in something bigger than yourself? Are you in physical or emotional pain? Tune in monthly to Vibrant Purposeful Living. Awaken the vibrant life within you with Lou Paradise and Dr. Pat on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Lou's passion is to help everyone experience positive solutions for life. Find out more about Lou with Vibrant Purposeful Living at LouParadise.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Calling all moms, it's time to awaken your vibrant, intuitive, loving self in every area of your life. Join host Debbie Pokornik as she shares thoughts, stories, and tools to help you stand in your power. Listen to Vibrant, Powerful Moms helping everyday women create extraordinary lives. Mondays at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. For more information about Debbie, visit empoweringenergy.com. That's empowering with letters NRG.com.
Welcome back to the Tracy L. Clark Show. I'm your host, Tracy L., where we're talking about going from the majority to the minority. We had an incredible call with Matt. I'm just going to ask Carter to bring in Laura quickly before we get to the end of our show.
Yeah, Laura from Ontario. You were on the air on the Tracy L. Clark Show.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Tracy. Hi, how are you?
Very good. So you have a testimonial or you want something cleared on switching from the majority to the minority?
Well, it's kind of a bit of both, maybe.
Yep.
I think I was always a minority because I struggled in school. I was the first in a special ed class. I was always looked at different.
Good.
My aunt would always look at me and go, Laura wouldn't really understand that. And she would look at me and, talk really slow, and it just really annoyed me.
Because you're a learner. You're a learner by doing, not by reading. Correct?
I'm a doing, yeah. Yeah, correct. And I never worked for corporate. I actually kind of went into the punk rock field and was do it yourself, whatever, right?
Yep.
Kind of a minority kind of thing.
Good.
But I also felt like there was parts of me that didn't fit in there too.
Yes.
And the concept of who needs money, right? So maybe I kind of got a little stuck there.
So we can open that to actually, open that to, and also to where sometimes we go into these other fields just as a full-on rejection of what everybody wants us to do, right? And then we got to pull it back.
Exactly.
So it's like you swung the pendulum from, I don't want to be like what all you are telling me, and I don't believe in what you're telling me. So you swung the pendulum a little bit too far, right? And went, oh, well, okay, I would like to enjoy some things in life and let these patterns break. So we almost have to just bring the pendulum a little bit back up to center so you can still be wonderful and different and embrace who you are and really be able to continue to be strong in your voice, that it's good to be different. And it's okay, because all of that accumulation of energy was just, you can see, it was just, you didn't fit in that mold. And that's okay.
No, I didn't, right? And I feel sometimes I don't fit in, that's where do I fit in mode, But, and sometimes it can feel kind of lonely. But,
here's one thing I like to
I think my testimony.
I want to remind you, it's better to fit in with one person or two people or a group where you go, I'm like them, than it is 100 people.
Exactly. And I got that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you said you had a testimony you wanted to share?
Well, I think for me was for the majority minority was even just for my family, and how how to handle a situation as a single mom with a child who has a lot of anger issues, and how I've dealt with it in different ways, right? And their opinions and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that's really strong.
That's where I want to say, just keep going, because by doing it different, you create the change. How beautiful.
Yeah. So I just decided, to find my voice, which was really hard because even though I've felt like the minority most of my life, I feel like I'm not heard sometimes, or I feel like I'm invisible and I'm inside this body shouting out and no one can hear me. So it felt really good to break out of that and finally feel like, okay, I can be heard and I'm spoken, and I'm doing it for me.
Yeah.
Most importantly.
And walking away from the approval of needing it from those people, right? To say, well, if you're not going to hear me, then you won't be in my life that much, which is beautiful. And I love that, because that's where this is that foundation that builds more strength and more vitality and more drive to continue and to celebrate that all of those learnings, because people had a certain expectation or thought pattern of what, you or I or somebody should be. That's the brave. And that's the one thing, if I can leave with you today, because I know we're going to move on to our next phase here, that to just leave with you to really hold on and say, it's amazing to be different. I celebrate me in being different. I celebrate me for having my gifts, and I have the strength to continue to celebrate me each and every day. If you can remember that too, you're going to see the strength and the foundation and the cells even get stronger. And no matter what's out around you, you'll be that pillar. You'll be that strong tree that is all around you on all levels and all layers. So you just keep going. So thank you. Thank you for calling in and sharing, and keep going. Thank you. I love hearing callers like Laura and Matt. And the reason I love it so much is that, again, you start to see how I was talking about in the earlier part of the show, how we had another lady from one of our first shows mention about how they felt less than and they felt excluded because they didn't fit. And so I really want to encourage each and every one of you to look today at what is left. Where is the space of brave? Like we've been saying this a couple of times, but success, being peace, being happy, being, loving your life. And even though it may not look like what everybody else thinks or wants it to be, but what are the takeaways? So sharing's not always caring. It'll be scary to jump from the majority to the minority. But if you do that and follow what your heart is telling you, what spirit's telling you, you see signs and wonders all the time. We talk about synchronicities. You talk about, I met that person. That wouldn't have happened if that person hadn't reached out and I didn't follow through. That wouldn't have happened. Where's the space to bring more of that in and to open that up and to really look where in your life right now are you saying things, doing things, posting things on social media? That's still my big pet peeve, posting things. I'm so happy when you may not be. Like, where are you doing things to try to fit in to this need to be needed? And let's think that I'm starting to remove that so you can have truth, you can have strength, you can have vitality, you can have life, and you can start to move into a direction of being the celebration of different and really, really grabbing your dreams and your visions. And this is a big key. If you can really get real. And getting real, guys, sometimes sucks. It's sometimes not easy because you're looking in the mirror going, I need to change this behavior. I'm going to look at your family. What are the behaviors you no longer want to carry? And make yourself a promise that you're going to ready to change that. Step out of the box, no matter what resistance they give you or your friends, no matter what they say, that you're important enough to keep going because in your heart, you're so ready for change. You're so ready for change. So change is always going to happen. And when you embrace it and follow what's coming inside, like I said, watch your finances. They will change. It'll take a little bit, but they will get better. Watch your health. It's a journey, but as you remove that stress and that space out, it'll get better. And like we were saying with Laura, If your family wants to give you resistance, that's where sharing's not caring. So I want to thank all of you for joining us for this hour of change and transformation. I trust you're going to join us next week where we're going to be discussing and sifting and shifting around, are you living in heaven or hell? I love this question. Are you living in heaven and hell or hell? We're going to leave that with you. And if you're really desiring more shifting support community, I just, again, want to invite you to join our partnership program. Check out TracyLClark.com. with the Facebook groups or Instagram. And you know what? If you really like the conversation, I want to invite you after the show to hop on our Instagram live, TracyLClark_, where we're going to continue to answer your questions. We're going to continue to sift and shift what you need, which we do each and every week after the show. So please check us out, join us there, and really understand what can you do to make the difference so you can step into your authentic self and learn how to let go of fear and what your body's telling you so you can seriously move from the majority to the minority and celebrate you. So remember our saying at the TLC Community of Extraordinary Living, we go together, we grow together. So we'll see you next week. Check us out so you can understand, are you living in heaven or hell? Have a great week. Thank you for listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality, revealing the steps you need to transcend perceived limitations. As a remarkable leader and pioneer in my field, I, Tracy L., will provide insights energetically and the tools required to move you forward. For more information on my partnership program, check us out at TracyLClark.com.